We're going to start early with that on the quick panel. We just can't have these guys stand around. Head on up. Take your time. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go less. Just. And I think those mics just click on. Don't worry about it. They're on.
I know. That's all the wires.
There you go. Hello. Sunset. Someday they're gonna have this.
This is wire difficulties. Good.
They probably don't want us to be one mic or something.
Everybody's right.
Okay, yes.
It's not good.
That's good. I screwed it up just a bit.
Yeah, I know. I did weekend. They did me.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you. Guys, check your mics. All good?
Good with the scores.
Yep, next.
Give a speech about the news.
All right, you guys ready to get this going? I'd take that as a yes. Please welcome our first panel of the day, the Dawn of the Dead panel. My lies, Walt Kramer, Ralph Langer, and Christian Dryden. Welcome back. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, yeah. It's 1 minute every year. So, Christian.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, Christian, I love your shirt. Where did you get it?
Yeah.
What's this? Who makes those? I have them printed in Texas by a printer friend. Wow. Did you have a hand in the graphics at all, or just? I had it done several years ago. I really liked the design and I stuck with it. Jim Clinton and I have the same designer. We can't tell you who because everybody would want to go to the same place. They're available here, aren't they? You can get them here. What's that? Can you buy one of those here? Well, yeah, you can buy one right at my table if you want. Not a hard sell. Not a hard sell. But let's talk about this movie here. Yeah. Yeah, people don't want to hear about my T-shirt. Well, it's the elephant in the room. I wanted to, it jumps right out of it.
By the way, speaking of T-shirts, check his. It has a weird story.
What's the story on the shirt then?
Well, last year I was sitting across from their booth,
Garth.
where they were selling T-shirts, different things, and I noticed that this was on their banner at the bottom. And I mentioned it would make a nice T-shirt.
Don't worry, just keep rocking. Ed's on it. He'll be fine.
And I mentioned that I thought it'd make a really nice T-shirt.
Nice and close.
So I ended up taking a picture of it, having it printed, and I think now they're going to start making. They looked at them this year, so hopefully sometimes this will be available.
So that's the only one of that shirt for now.
4 days in 4 different colors, and that's all there is. Right.
And it's from the Garth booth.
Okay, great.
It was just on the sign.
Do you know who designed that, or was it just something you saw on the banner?
I just saw it, took a picture, and
Nice. All right, let's talk about enough shirts. Let's get to the movie. Real quick, have you guys ever watched the film recently? Do you bring people to the mall to show off where you've been? I mean, do you come to the mall other than just when you do this? Is it on? Yeah. Okay. The sign's off. Are you saying that do we come to the mall ourselves? Do you bring friends with you and say, hey, this is, I mean, do you do your own tours? I actually shop here sometimes. And I think about, can't not walk into this place and not think about the movie, right? Because it's a part of an indelible part of your life. And and I have 4 grown sons, and they've all come to the mall with dad, either collectively or separately. And I always get to, we always talk about that. But it was sort of like really fresh earlier. I could say, oh, this is where dad got killed. Now that place is gone. All the mall is completely transformed. But I still like the idea of this being like a living set. And so, like, everybody knows about this film. Even the people that don't like horror films, they like this film, Dawn of the Dead. They know who George is. And even if they don't care about horror at all, they always kind of go, "Ooh, you were in that film." And so it never gets old, that way. It never gets old. How about you, Ralph? Do people do that with you?
It's weird because none of my friends personally are horror fans, and they've never seen the film. And some of them live like 3 miles away from this mall, and they never come shopping here. And it's like whenever I talk about it, it's like, well, here we go again. And it's like, so I guess that grounds me, because it's like, oh, look at me, I was in this movie, because they don't care. So in a way, it's kind of nice, but every so often it's real nice to come here, and because I care more about the people that like the George Romero movies than me being in it. I was just at the right place at the right time, and I lucked out. As a matter of fact, if we went back in time, Walt is a good friend of mine, and I told him they were going to film at the mall. We were at a party, and he said, "Oh, let's go." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to go tonight. I went to work this morning. I'm tired." And he talked me into it. So I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him. So we got about 4 or 5 friends together, and we came over, and we just spent the all night being zombies and having fun. And I had my great camera with me, so I was able to film because I taught filmmaking classes. And the whole reason I was able to film is because Christine Forrest is an ex-student of the high school I teach in. And she was so thrilled that her ex-high school had a film program, and she introduced me to George. And from that point on, he allowed me to bring all my students to every movie he made in Pittsburgh as a field trip. So it's all being at the right place at the right time. But if we could go back through time, I could take any one of you with me, like Walt and I did, and you would be zombies then. Like, they'd give you $1, they'd sign you up, they'd walk you around, and they'd say, "Okay, here's a bone nibble on it." And it wasn't hard to do. I mean, anybody could have done it if he happened to be there. And the one night that we were there was a snowstorm, and I'll never forget because it was dawn, and I went to my car and I had a flat tire, and I had to change the tire with another friend of mine, and I didn't have gloves. And I'll never forget how horrendous that felt. So anyway, I get a kick out of this because George Romero did a lot for me, and I like to pay it forward to try to further his memory. I get a kick out of this.
Well, I live about an hour from here, south of Pittsburgh, so I've really never come here. As for the way people that I know think about this, I have to pretty much concur with Ralph. People look at me like I have 2 heads when I talk about doing this. My family doesn't have a clue. But I really enjoy it. The people that come to this are just amazing. The first time I did this, I couldn't believe that somebody would come and be interested in having my picture and my autograph. And
We're good. Just keep rocking.
the very first girl that came up to me, got the autograph, wanted the picture with me. And I had to ask her where she is from. She said, Nova Scotia. And I couldn't believe it. There were people that came that year from England, from Germany. I think one of the last people I talked to, I was telling him about this on Sunday. And I said, "By the way, where are you from?" He said, "Hawaii." It's like people just come from everywhere because they love this. And they're really wonderful people, all of you, for
What was that first year you did this, where you start doing the autographs in Nova Scotia? What year was that when you did the first one?
That was actually last year.
Oh, that was just last. I was just going to say, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I hadn't known about this. And when I worked out at a lot, so I was never here. And Ralph was the one that told me about it and got me started everything. And I was really amazed. I mean, I knew that I was in it. People that I knew that I was in it didn't care, because they had never seen the movie. But to find so many people that are really authentic fans, it's great. It's a really great group of people.
But by the way, well, in case you didn't see him in the movie, he's the one who bites Marty Schiff's neck and bites a big chunk out. But he accidentally bit the tubing. So the first time he did it, looked like he was a bird pulling a worm out of his neck.
Well, actually, the first time I did it, I bit Marty. I went too deep, and they had to cut and redo it. Then the second time, the tube came on. It was got to be a long process for one little shot.
Christian? We'll get you.
You got it? Okay. So I basically, I've come out to go to the Living Dead weekend, Living Dead Museum with friends and stuff. And I just usually come out for this convention to say, hi and stuff. I think this is my fourth time to do it. And because I basically met Kevin at the Steel City Con. And I told him that I was in Dawn of the Dead and we were talking about it. And he basically said, hey, do you want to come out and do a convention? And I'm like, if you guys want me, I'll be here. And I basically met a bunch of really fun people. Because like everyone said, the fans are like the best. They're they're friendly people. And I always tell my friends kind of thing, come out for the shopping, if nothing else. Because there's knickknacks and there's T-shirts everywhere. I was trying to get them to come out and stuff. But I always come out and I end up shopping myself. Because my thing is I'm here because my parents are friends of Tom Savini. So when they did the film, Tom told all his friends, hey, if you're free this weekend, come out and do a horror film with me. And so we came out. I was 11. And so we came out, and basically I'm a night person, always have been. So when we came out, by the time they got everything set up, get the gray paint on, pulled out all the Christmas decorations, they were shooting really, really late. So all the little kid zombies, besides myself, passed out. So I basically walk around watching people getting torn apart, shot out for hours. I would walk from midnight till 5 a.m. all by myself. My parents and I laughed about this, talking about the whole you gotta protect your child. Once I got here, I walked around and watched carnage for 5 hours. And that's why I got my scene in halfway through, because George Romero had an idea of the zombies having residual memories. And so we wanted an image of the zombies walking around not attacking people. So all the male zombies were going after money and guns, while the female zombies were after perfume and furs. And he wanted to have some kid zombies playing the toy store, and they're all asleep. I basically was walking around and he saw me and he's like, oh my God, you're awake. I'm like, yes, I am. So he grabbed me, he took me to Jason Penny's. At the very end of Jason Penny's, there's a toy store. So at the very end, he's like, okay, you want to bite, but you're a zombie and you're stupid. And I'm like, I can do it. And so I walk down this long hall and I just keep bumping into this standing fight. And that's why I get in line with the scene, because I'm literally, out of 30 kids who came that night, I'm the only one who stays awake.
Do you remember how many times you did that scene with the bicycle? How many times it was just the first time you did it? It was
I just did the one time, because I'm in a group of adult zombies walking down J.C. Penney's. And I basically, I somehow get ahead of everyone. I get to the toy department and the thing. And as I tell everyone, if you watch the scene I'm in, because we weren't mic'd sound kind of thing. So as I'm walking down, George Romero is right behind me with the cameras. He told us all what he wanted us to do. And they're like, okay. So he told me exactly what he wanted me to do. So as we're walking down in JCPenney's, in the entrance, out of shot, there's some line that there's over here, and he's like directing it. So he's sitting there really quiet, going, "You're zombies. You're looking for human flesh. Keep walking. Keep walking." He keeps doing that. He's right over here. And as I'm walking past, for some reason he yells at us. He goes, "Don't look at me!" Like really loud. And if you're watching my scene as I'm walking, I actually jerk to my left and it scares the crap out of me. So I basically jerk to my left, and since I'm not mic'd, I look at him, I go, "Idiot," and then I just keep walking down. But everyone who watches the film who knows that says, "Yeah, I saw you jerk out of the way." I was like, "Yeah, that guy yelled at me."
So one question I've never asked any zombie before, it just come to me. You keep saying you were paid $1 a day. Did you guys spend the dollars, or did you just kind of keep them as souvenirs? It was just $1.
I didn't get paid.
What's that?
I didn't get paid anything.
Not even $1.
No, because I was on the crew. I was already getting paid. And for those who haven't heard the story, because there's a few new faces, I was working on the crew, and it was late one night, and we're waiting for the actors to come on the set. And, the lights are set, camera set. And George is standing next to me. And there's just something in my head that says, you got to ask him about playing a zombie in the film. So I just turned to him and said, "Hey, George, I want to play a zombie." So he said, and we were downstairs here. He says, "Well, go upstairs and see what they have." So I literally ran upstairs into the community room, this big room where we used to congregate each night to get our plan set up for whatever we were going to shoot. So long story short, there's an actor in there named John Amplis. And John was actually supposed to do it the next night. And I said, "Hey, John, what do you have?" So John pulls this machete out of the darkness into this light, because there was like one little light on it. And he says, "Here." And I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" "Oh, we're supposed to do it tomorrow." I said, "Well, I can do something else." He said, No, I'm burned out. I've done like all these parts. And what you have?" So I'm like, "Okay, I love it." So 24 hours later, I'm all zombie made up. And Tom Savini and I planned out what he was going to do with me. So I'm zombieing through the mall, and I wore glasses. I didn't have my glasses on, so everything was really blurry. And I walk up, knock Tom off his motorcycle, and everything goes according to plan. He gets up, then he kicks me in the chest, knocks me on the floor, and when I start to get back up, I grab him by the leg, he pulls the machete out of his boot, and he says, "Say goodbye, creep." And wow, I'm dead. And I just hope, I hope I make it into the final cut. Because I was really into monsters, and I love the craft. And I was just like having a moment, right? And then we were done. And then I didn't have time to really take the makeup off. I had to go right back to work. So I'm working all night with blood all over me, on my face. And I lived at home at the time. And I went home and went into my mom's room, who was asleep. And I gave her a kiss on the cheek and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm home." And she just looks up and she goes, "Hi, Dad." And she closes her eyes and goes back to sleep. And I then, I hadn't thought about that I was still had blood all over me. And I just thought it was kind of funny. And then over time, of course, I realized that it makes the final cut and it becomes iconic. But it wasn't until, I saw it on, in books, on book covers, DVDs, all these things. But it wasn't until 2000 that I even knew there was such a thing as a horror convention or even a pop culture show. And I got invited to a show in Cleveland. And after working, signing all the one picture that the promoter had given me, which wasn't very good. And everybody bringing their everything from games to record albums to you name it. And I was like, wow. And I was charging $5 an autograph. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was cool. And I went home with a mortgage payment. So I called my wife and said, "Wow, this is great. I got a mortgage payment." And I still had a day or two to go. And I did really well. And Jim Crump was sitting next to me. We didn't even know each other. Helicopter zombie. And I look at Jim, and Jim looks at me, and we got to figure this out. So we both start putting together some merchandise for shows. And I mean, like, it sounds like I became an opportunist, but like, I had a family. So yeah. But also, I didn't understand how popular Dawn of the Dead was. It was like Mecca to all these people. They were so passionate about it and loved it so much. And I realized for the first time ever how special it was to be a part of this film in the George Romero family. And then I started doing conventions where other people were, and where George was. And it was great to be able to sort of reminisce and talk about what we did. And then here we are, 46 years later, I think. We're getting into 46. And I can't believe I've been old enough. Like, I don't even, doesn't feel like I've been alive long enough to have done something 46 years ago. But I have. And like all the people in the room with me, and I look at them and I go, we were all there at the same time. But a lot of us got to know each other at the show because a lot of the zombies were like there for one night and gone. Or, like Ralph, he was there filming. I didn't know who Ralph was until we got here. Or Christian, or a lot of these other people. Now we've become acquainted and friends, and like it's it's like a reunion. Like I went to my 50th high school reunion last year, and as much fun as I had, this is better because the memories are just so different, and it has to do with something creative, and it has to do with all the new people we get to meet and all the friends we've made. So it's become like this lifelong, integral part of who I am, oddly enough.
I got to ask you real quick. The convention you did in Cleveland, was that Fright Vision?
Was that
The convention that you did in Cleveland,
right?
was that called Fright Vision?
No, that was, what was that called? What was it called? Not Chilla. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm sorry. I'll think of it. Ask somebody else a question. I'll think of it because it was in Strongsville, really.
Yeah.
And it's the first show ever. And when somebody called me to ask me to come to the show, I thought, come to the show and sign stuff? This must be like some kind of like, I don't know, like a fake thing where they're trying to find a way to weasel money out of me or bring me somewhere where I'm going to get kidnapped. Or, I didn't know what it was. It just didn't make any sense to me. So I get to Strongsville, no photos or anything, and there's like all these people at the door. And this Hispanic guy, Jorge, comes up to me and says, Lenny Lease, machete zombie. And I'm, oh, are you talking to me? And this guy knew who I was before I knew what it was going on. And he was the first person that ever said who I was, I mean, from the film. And I saw all these people and I realized they were there for the show. And it was exciting.
Because I was just going to say, that was the first horror convention I ever hosted, was in Strongsville, and it was called Fright Vision. And it was in the 90s, but
Well, this wasn't Fright Vision.
just curious.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck it was, because
Cinema Wasteland?
Cinema Wasteland. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Cinema Wasteland.
Good answer.
And then that just opened up the floodgates, because all of a sudden we're doing 4 and 5 shows a year in all these different venues. And it never ceases to amaze me that they're still going on, these shows. We did a show in the UK, a bunch of us, back in November. And it's just astonishing, the people and the things they collect. Like I probably would have gone to 2 shows by now if I hadn't been involved personally. Because, I'm curious too. I went to Evans City for a show just to be a fan, along with some friends. And it's different being on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, because you're there, you're a collector, or you love the film. It just astonishes me that people love it so much. I mean, I'd probably be going to alien shows. You know, I mean, because you know, I'm prejudiced, but I think Dawn of the Dead is like one of the best horror films ever made. But then, you know, I can't be objective about it. I can't be objective about it, but I still think it is.
So the rest of you three got paid $1. What did you remember what you did with the dollar? Was it a memento? Was it something you just bought a Coke with? Or?
Well, truthfully, I was shocked I got it that way. I mean, they said they needed zombies at the mall, so I showed up, and I had to sign my name. I figured that's okay, but then they handed me a dollar bill, and I wondered, what's this for? And I guess it was just a stipend to show that I'm being paid something for my services, I guess. So I really never thought anything of it. If I had it to look over again, I would get George to sign it. And back then, Tom Savini wasn't even famous yet. Nobody knew who he was. He was just this guy with black hair and mustache over on the side playing with, acrylic paint and foam rubber and just, the things together. And we didn't know who he was because he had never made a movie yet of this release that we were aware of. And one other thing I find interesting is you have to look at the time period.
Oh, your mic's off. You flipped your mic off. Is there a switch on your mic?
Where's the...
There's no switch on it? Is there a switch on it?
No.
Should be on the body of the microphone. It just use Lenny's.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Wait, I think he muted you. He's going to get back over there and make it happen. Hold that thought. All right. You should be good to go.
Can you hear me now?
You're good. You're golden.
Okay, so I talked all that for nothing. Sorry about that and wasting your time. But I just wanted to add, you have to think of the time period. We had 3 TV stations. That was it. There was no cable TV when the movie was made. There was no VHS. So when we made the movie, we didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I mean, I saw the effects that they were doing for this, and I never saw anything like that before in my life. And I knew this is never going to play on one of the 3 networks because of the censorship. This is going to play the drive-ins for a week, and we'll never see it again. I mean, that's the way I looked at this going into it. I had no clue there would be longevity, but then all of a sudden, Hollywood home box office started up, and they would have 2 movies a month that you could rent, and they called it paid TV back then. And then all of a sudden, Betamax came out, and then all of a sudden they started selling tapes. And that was one of the first tapes being sold. So I think that Dawn of the Dead was made at just the right time, that I think that made it what it is today. And if it wasn't for that, you would have never seen it again because there was no way to show it on TV.
Did you buy the videotape when it first came out?
Oh, yeah. I bought the tape before I had a VHS player.
Now, when you first, do you show it to friends and family or your family and friends, or did you just kind of enjoy it on your own?
No,
Or?
nobody I know is interested in seeing it.
So you just kind of sat down and enjoyed your work?
Well, I watched it, to bring back memories, and then it stayed on the shelf. So, and by the way, I did a Super 8 home movie, but again, there was no such thing as a DVD extra. I made it for my students. I taught filmmaking, and I wanted them to know what it's like seeing a movie being made. So I made that Super 8 movie for my students. And then after a while, it laid on the shelf for years and years and years. And my brother called me saying that Anchor Bay was going to make a DVD, and they were interested in putting the DVD onto the special features. So I sent him the DVD, the Super 8 movie in the mail, and that's how it got on everybody to see.
So you kept it on Super 8, or did you transfer it to digital fresh? I mean, that's an old Super 8